Not that many games took as much of my time this year as Kenshi did. Like, you know that moment when you see a game for the first time before you've even played it, and it's already got you fully sucked in and immersed. Like, this was Kenshi for me, and as most, I stumbled upon the game after I came across some videos on the game from people like Seth and General Sam, and that did a pretty good job in getting me interested in the game. But like I said, this was Kenshi for me. This isn't Kenshi for everyone. There are many different points of views on Kenshi, its release, and leading up to it. Kenshi actually took about 12 years to make, and during this time there's a building community around the game since around the beginning, porting it from an idea all the way to a finished game. There are lots of posts, threads I could find that talk about how people felt about the game. On March 21st, 2013, a user asked the question, Kenshi and its development time. To which they said, so I've been lurking around the Steam community forums and there's a slowly developing controversy over Steam's development time. Some are claiming it's been inconsistent development for 8 years, others are saying 5 to 7. The reason this is relevant and matters is that people are using the apparent long 8-year-long development time as a reason to not support the game out of fear of abandonware and that it shows lack of progress. Anyway, can anyone or even Chris himself confirm the actual time of Kenshi's been in full swing development? To which the developer Chris responded, I don't really know the date or year I started, it's around 6 or 7 years I think. It took a long time to build up the fundamental systems. It's hardly going to be abandonware. I'm fulfilling my dreams of making my ultimate game, and now I'm making a full-time living from it too. It would be silly to give up on my dream of financial future for no reason. Any doubters can just ask the old players about it. They will tell you the game had regular updates the whole time. I don't make any claims to speed of completion, but I guarantee that the game will be finished and I won't stop until it's done right. Unless I die, but it's not going to be finished in 6 months. There's a lot to do. A few users would post back after this, just basically supporting what he had said and saying that that's great to hear. They want a finished game. And Chris said it's done when it's done. Quality and completeness is what matters to me, not deadlines. Now, Chris did, of course, fulfill his promise. After 12 years of hard work, developing the game for the most part at the start by himself, Kenshi's definitely one of the best indie games of the past couple years, and probably just the best indie game, one of my favorite games of all time, period. And it's the fact that I love this game so much is why I would make this video, as while I've had beyond an amazing time on the game, and it's one of my favorites, it does still have a lot of problems with it, and by addressing these problems, I hope others who think the same speak up as well or address their own issues with the game for the development of Kenshi 2, as Kenshi 1 is basically finished, and that's the first problem. While Kenshi is a very in-depth game with a lot of stuff to do, maybe more than enough for some people, it still lacks some things. Firstly, the game was made on an engine that Chris had started working on almost a decade ago. This leads to no surprise that the game is buggy or choppy sometimes, but Kenshi is beyond imagining. It's why when somebody tells me I'm not playing Kenshi because of this, I can understand. The game is unfortunately just not optimized, and it's very hard to run this game on most hardware. Probably about 1/4 of my playtime, I think, on Kenshi has just been either loading, pausing, or waiting for my units to not be inside unloaded terrain because they run right through hills, stuff like that. There's a lot of moments in the game where shit like this does happen and you just have to sort of put up with it. This should really be unacceptable, but the game is, I'd say, it's on the borderline of being playable to broken at times. For example, there's simple things with the game AI that doesn't work. Say your characters can't open gates for the town by themselves, which stops production or leaves people just standing around for no reason. Or there are cases where, say, your characters will deposit the food they have into the food storages, but they'll fucking starve to death before they dare run over to it and grab a bite to eat. It just sort of sucks, these things happen and you just sort of have to work around them, either with mods or figuring out a way to fucking cheese the game's system into tricking itself to do something else. It just degrades the overall experience you have on Kenshi. But even looking past the bugs and problems, there's more that do arise, and I didn't really know about these or find out until I'd say after I got more active into the Kenshi community. Lots of people feel upset by Kenshi 2 being developed now because there are people who play Kenshi and who have been on a train for years, almost like half a decade or more, supporting this game. And the game was supposed to be in a complete state and finished. But in the opinion that I've heard, a lot of people that do carry a negative opinion on the game say it's more just like a beta. While the base Kenshi game has an astonishing amount of stuff to do when compared to most games, some things in the game aren't in it. Things like player slavery, like you being able to enslave people, setting up your own shops, mounts or rideable animals. These were all things that were planned throughout the development, but either got removed or didn't get finished. And it's basically just left up to mods to make the game more complete. While Kenshi is a great game to play on vanilla, and I'm not knocking that, I feel like me and a lot of people share the same opinion of when you compare vanilla even to like just a list of like 10 mods, things like reactive world, the shop mod, recruitable prisoners, bigger recruitment limit. These are sort of some of the things that should have been in the base game. So technically, by using things like recruitable prisoners or bigger recruitment limit, like this isn't even how the game is normally played. So when people hear that Kenshi 2 is going to have everything Kenshi 1 had and more, they definitely do have a good reason to be upset and not want to support the game anymore. Like I said though, I love the game Kenshi and want the best for it. That's why I wrote this script and made this video. Like, I don't want this to seem like a hate video on Kenshi, and if you take it as that, I think I made it pretty clear, like, I like the game. I didn't start making videos playing the game and shit and talking about it or making mod lists to share because I don't like it. But I do want to see the game improve and of course get better. It's just, I definitely don't think it's right how the state of Kenshi 1 is left, and most of the longest time supporters of a game that do voice for opinions, they seem really like negative or passive aggressive on the game. You definitely don't want that. Those are people that have been supporting you since the beginning of the game's development. You know that they're good supporters and stuff. No, like, you definitely can't please everyone, but some things definitely need to be done or like ensured to be changed for Kenshi 2 to at least redeem some of the things. Now, what can be done? Like, I don't really have an answer for that. Like, all we can really do is just voice our opinions on the game and hope that it will take that into thought for the next game or the remake of Kenshi 1. One thing I've heard suggested is maybe giving Kenshi 1 backers, a discount code on the remake or the second game. Like, at the very least, a discount code would be appreciated for people that have been sticking around with the game since early launch. But I think I basically covered most of the problems of Kenshi, at least the ones that I have and I've seen come up the most. There's definitely probably a few that I missed, so if I did, feel free to leave them in the comments and stuff. I'll be reading all of them. As if everybody does like say agree on one thing or like certain things about Kenshi 1 that it lacks or should improve on, I think then that's like definitely a good sign that that message should be passed on to the next game. But anyways, that's about it for this video. Let me know what you guys thought of it in the comment section below and your opinions on, what you think of Kenshi. Do you have any problems with the game? Like, if you don't have any problems with the game, let me know. And if you do, feel free to share them. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys for all the support. If you did like the video, feel free to subscribe or check out any of my other videos. And thanks for watching. Peace.